Mossad chief has warned that young female hostages held by Hamas are running out of time. As per Hebrew media, David Barnea told a security cabinet meeting that they do not have time to wait for a new hostage deal framework. He said the proposal could take many weeks and the girls in captivity don't have time to wait for changes under discussion. It's not certain why the Mossad chief focused specifically on women. But others present at the meeting also backed the need for a swift agreement, citing more than one reason. Intelligence Minister Gira Gamliel cited concerns that the female hostages may have been raped in captivity. She was quoted as saying that women can give birth after 9 months, and that is a disaster that you cannot recover from. Ministers, including Gamliel, have reportedly pressed the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to ignore threats from National Security Minister Ben Gvir and Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich. Both of them oppose any deal that ends the war before Hamas is destroyed. They have even threatened to topple the government if necessary. Meanwhile, Israel's Knesset voted overwhelmingly to pass a resolution rejecting the establishment of a Palestinian state. The resolution was co-sponsored by Netanyahu's coalition, as well as right-wing parties from the opposition. It even received support from Benny Gantz's centrist National Unity Party. The resolution was passed 68-9. It stated, and I quote, "The establishment of a Palestinian state in the land of Israel will pose an existential danger to the state of Israel and its citizens, perpetuate the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and destabilise the region." Well, this move comes just days ahead of Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to the US. The Israeli PM is scheduled to address a joint session of the Congress and meet with President Joe Biden at the White House. The new resolution is likely to further increase tensions among Democrats who back a two-state solution. The blue camp remains torn between their long-standing support for Israel and criticism over Israel's operations in Gaza. Israel's ground offensive has killed nearly 39,000 people in Gaza so far. That's according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. The ministry also said that over the past 24 hours, Israeli strikes had killed at least 81 Palestinians. On the other front, the Israel Defense Forces have named 682 soldiers, officers and reservists killed during the war. The number of humanitarian workers of the United Nations and non-governmental organisations killed in the Gaza Strip has also climbed to 300. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who is currently chairman of the UN Security Council, said that this is the largest one-time loss for the UN in modern history. Well, for more on this, we're being joined by our correspondent Jody Cohen, live from Ra'anana. Jody, good to see you this morning. The pressure's mounting on Prime Minister Netanyahu following those comments by the head of the Mossad calling for a deal to be made now. Tell us more.
Hi, Oliver. So according to unsourced leaks from the Security Cabinet meeting, Mossad head David Barnea called for a deal, as you said. He suggested it would take too long to set up a mechanism to ensure one of the Prime Minister's principles for a deal. Now, that principle is that Hamas can't return to northern Gaza, and he said that time is running out for the young female hostages held in Gaza. Now, in the meeting, Intelligence Minister Gira Gamliel reportedly referenced that it's been 9 months since the hostages were taken, said that women can give birth after 9 months and called it a disaster. Others in the meeting reportedly called on Netanyahu not to be concerned with threats from the ultra-nationalists to leave the coalition over what they're saying is a reckless deal for Israel. Netanyahu reportedly responded that he's not worried by political pressure. He said it's Hamas who's feeling the heat under military pressure, which he said in the end is what would bring back the hostages.
Let's talk more now about that vote against the establishment of a Palestinian state. What does that mean for Benjamin Netanyahu's upcoming visit to Washington?
So Israel's parliament overwhelmingly voted against the establishment of a Palestinian state. The motion suggested that a Palestinian state would be an existential threat to Israel, that it would be taken over by jihadists working in coordination with Iran to eliminate the Jewish state, and said that promoting a Jewish state at this time would be a reward for terror. Now, the motion was co-sponsored by the coalition and right-wing parties in the opposition, and received votes also from some in the party of Benny Gantz, who's also now, remember, in the opposition. The party of Yair Lapid, who's the head of the opposition, they left the room so that they wouldn't have to vote on this issue, even though the party supports the two-state solution. And as you said, this vote comes just days before Prime Minister Netanyahu's trip to Israel, to the United States, where commentators expect that he's going to be coming under pressure from the Biden administration on this issue and the issue of the governance of post-war Gaza.
Okay, Jodie Cohen, our correspondent, joining us live there. Many thanks for that insight.